This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. Here now the news for December 13th, 2023. A new report from the Washington Post confirms the rumor that several third-party tour guides have been trespassed from the Walt Disney World Resort and includes a statement from the Walt Disney Company. The Post spoke to 8 third-party tour operators and company owners who have recently been trespassed, i.e. banned from the Walt Disney World Resort, including Melinda Hanks of Create a Dream. Hanks would help families by setting up Genie Plus, recommending rides, and escorting them around theme parks. With no warning, she was issued a trespassing order on October 2nd when attempting to enter a park to meet with clients. Quote, "I'm not some criminal," Hanks told security officers. She has been visiting Walt Disney World since she was a child and moved to Orlando from Wisconsin to be closer to the parks. "Disney is everything to me. It's my entire life. I don't know what I'm going to do." Though third-party tours are not explicitly listed as prohibited, they are commercial services, which are against the rules of the Walt Disney World Resort. Until recently, Disney mostly ignored third-party tours. They said in an emailed statement to the Washington Post that they are taking additional steps to enforce rules against commercial activities because of a significant increase in these rule violations. Disney noted that the third-party tour guides have sold services like access to Genie Plus, disability access service, dining reservations, hotel reservations, and other in-park offerings. When this activity happens, a Disney spokesperson said, it impacts the experience of other guests following the rules, including our guests with disabilities, and impedes our theme park operations. Just like Starbucks would not permit a third party to come into their stores to sell coffee to their customers, Disney does not permit unauthorized commercial activities in its theme parks. Another third-party tour guide, Elena Crutchfield of Elevate Amusement, told the Post, "No one ever thought this would happen. We would like a seat at the table. They've really knocked out every bit of ability that we have to fight this." Crutchfield received a 1-year trespass notice. She contacted Disney about lifting the ban and received a letter from Walt Disney World Security VP Linda Reed that said, "We reviewed your request and the information concerning the conduct that resulted in the trespass being issued against you. Regrettably, we declined to lift the trespass at this time." A spokesperson for the Orange County Sheriff's Office said the trespass orders are issued at the discretion of the property owner. "We don't inquire about someone's occupation," the spokesperson wrote in an email, "reasons why the person is on the property or any ancillary information." The third-party guides that the Washington Post spoke to said they have not heard of any similar bans happening to their California counterparts. Trespass guidelines have since had to find other jobs. Hanks said she made peace with Disney's decision, but feels anxiety about suddenly having to reroute her family's livelihood. "It almost just feels like this was taken away from us," Hanks said. "I love Disney and I want to work with Disney." Walt Disney World, of course, offers their own private VIP tour guide services. These can be costly, ranging from $450 to $900 per hour, depending on their season. Third-party guides offered similar services for prices closer to the $150 to $300 range. There's a lot to unpack here. I do remember very vividly tour guides being trespassed several years ago who specifically were using the disability access service system to get their clients through queues faster, right? That was absolutely a thing. So these may have been, it's interesting that's brought up again because I don't know explicitly we've heard that that's the problem that was thrown in here, but I don't think Disney has any discretion there. I think this is trespassing anyone and everyone who's selling tours of Walt Disney World separately from the Walt Disney Company. And, you know, I can't fathom it being a logical argument to come out and say, like, Disney's really taken our livelihood away. You're giving tours on private property. Like, this is property that belongs to someone else. And I think the Starbucks analogy kind of makes sense, right? Like, why would they allow someone to do that? And you know it's absolutely in violation of the park rules. It doesn't say it explicitly, but there it is. But then again, there are all sorts of things people do that explicitly violate the rules, right? You know, I run a news organization that absolutely sends reporters into the park every day. And we've live streamed from the parks and all these sorts of things. That technically is a commercial enterprise operating on Disney property, but we know, obviously, Disney has a media list of fan sites and has worked with fan sites through the years, so we know they treat that situation very differently, right? They've decided that doesn't fit within the parameters of what they have a problem with. But these tour guides most definitely do, right? While Disney certainly operates their own blog, their attempts with the blog are not to the blog is not profitable, right? It's a PR, it's an arm of the PR department, as opposed to this, where Disney absolutely offers this service, and instead a third party is coming in and doing it for free by using, let's say, using the DAS system, as a loophole, or what I think is actually happening here, they're just stealing business from Disney's VIP tour guides because they're incredibly cheaper, and people, not everyone can afford a Disney VIP tour, but way more people can afford something in the $150 to $300 price range. Fans of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad may want to check their vacation calendars, as the Magic Kingdom attraction will be closed for refurbishment starting on January 16th. It'll be closed until January 21st of 2024. No major changes are expected for the popular roller coaster, which opened over 43 years ago in 1980. Of course, that's not enough days for really anything major to happen, but yeah, it's worth noting for a couple days there will be no wildest ride in the wilderness. Speaking of refurbishments, Kali River Rapids at Animal Kingdom will be closed for its annual expected refurbishment in January. The last day of operation for the raft ride will be on January 7th. On Monday, January 8th, the ride will be closed, likely again for that annual extended refurbishment. And we say likely because we don't know the end date yet. We have no idea. The Walt Disney World online calendar only goes up to February 10th, and so that's all we know at this time. Is it's it could certainly reopen before that. It could be after that. We'll have to wait and see. While visiting Walt Disney World Resort this week, we spotted new Mickey Mouse icon open edition pins for each of the 4 Walt Disney World theme parks and its park icons, as well as a Walt Disney World logo pin in general. That pin has been out for a couple weeks. It's $14.99. It features all the park icons. But the new ones are these individual park icon pins. There is a Magic Kingdom one for $12.99. It features Cinderella Castle, of course. There is one for Epcot, which is $12.99 as well, with Spaceship Earth. There's a Hollywood Studios with the Tower of Terror for $12.99. And you guessed it, the Animal Kingdom one is $12.99 as well. This one featuring the Tree of Life. They should be available at most Walt Disney World merchandise locations that sell pins, but you never know with these things. We did find them all at the dark room, actually, at Disney's Hollywood Studios. But again, they could be at many, many locations. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and the team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts to the Disney Cruise Line, like they did for me. They booked my Alaska and my San Diego cruises, to Adventures by Disney and more. They're also able to book unforgettable VIP tours that won't be trespassed, where you and your group can experience the ultimate park day. And the best part is their services are 100% free. You don't pay anything extra. Even if you book a VIP tour with them, there's no added fee to book with them. So make your vacation their problem instead of your problem, and book with them today. Disney Vacation Club announced in an email to members that the new cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort are projected to open in the summer of 2024. Previously, they had only announced they would open next year. DVC also officially released 2 pieces of concept art we saw last week at the annual Condo Association meeting, as well as some new pieces of concept art which are of particular interest to us. One new piece of concept art of the cabin exterior is similar to the first one that was released, but Disney stated in their initial announcement that the cabins are being built with an eye towards the environment, utilizing the footprint of the existing cabins and taking advantage of more energy-efficient features. The 350 DVC cabins are replacing the current cabins at the resort. One thing I noticed that's different in this exterior concept art is they've hung like this, wrought iron or metal art piece on one side. It does very little to make this not look like a shipping container still, but at least my thought is that was not the original intention, and they're trying to address concerns many of us have about what this thing looks like, but I don't know that it does that. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, right? It's maybe if we put this one wilderness-style art piece on one exterior wall, it will fix the problem. Nonetheless, there's the living room concept art we've seen already, with the pink couch beneath the Murphy bed, a crate-inspired table, and a blue cushion top, Fort Wilderness artwork and white walls. We talked about this last week already. In addition to the living room concept art that we previously saw, concept art on the website shows what a bedroom may look like. The room will have new bunk beds with murals on the wall behind them. I will say this, I have seen 4 pieces of concept art now. I've seen 2 exteriors, which I don't like. I've seen that living room art, which we know I didn't like. I don't hate this one. I think the bunk bed looks great. I love the art behind it. Chip and Dale thing, all right, that works. You know, I still have a lot of problems with this, but this is easily the best look at this the first look at this I've seen where I was like, okay, all right, something works. Beyond that, we could see in the distance, you can see, I think, into the bathroom. Essentially, there is, we've seen this sort of rings of a tree mirror, right? We've seen that at, I believe, Copper Creek and some other places at the Wilderness Lodge projects. So that's in a similar vein. Yeah, so think what you will at this point. But Disney Vacation Club describes the cabins further now. Find tranquility in your private one-bedroom cabin, complete with many comforts of home. Set amid the beauty of the great outdoors, each cabin sleeps up to 6, and some can even accommodate dogs. All offer a restful retreat with charming touches and many conveniences. Through the sconce-flanked front doors in a spacious living area featuring a dining nook and a fully equipped kitchen, including a refrigerator, dishwasher, convection and microwave oven, and 2 countertop burners. And off the kitchen, you'll find a vanity area outside the entrance to the bathroom, which has a shower and an additional vanity inside. A convertible seating and sleeping area is located opposite the kitchen and boasts a 65-inch television and a comfortable sofa, the perfect spot to gather your family to watch your favorite Disney movie. And at bedtime, simply fold down the queen-size Innova bed from the wall for added sleeping space. And in the separate bedroom, you'll find a queen-size bed, twin-size bunk beds, a 55-inch television, a closet, and a nightstand. And each morning you could draw the curtains back to reveal floor-to-ceiling windows and your own personal patio deck where you can bask in the glories of nature while firing up the charcoal grill and dining al fresco. With everything available to you, the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort, notice we've eliminated the words "and campground," provides a fresh, elevated take on the cabin experience and decades of magical vacations to come. So we're going to unpack this for a moment. Number one, still no mention of washer and dryer. I think this is crazy. I can't believe the one positive I thought of in this update was it would be nice to have the washer and dryer in the cabin. That is the one change I definitely would love. And it's not like them, right? I feel like every other time they've announced a Disney Vacation Club resort, they've mentioned the washer and dryer in the room, right? They're not mentioning it here. Now look, the wash facilities at Fort are great. They're clean, they're spacious. I've never had a problem using them the couple times I have. But I mean, if I'm gonna buy a Disney Vacation Club contract, and this is supposed to be a new, modern, luxurious amenity, that missing is odd. It's odd for sure, but either way. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm still unhappy with everything else I've seen, but at least the bunk beds are pretty thematic, and there's some wall art in there, and it's again, I'm still not advocating this. I still think they could have looked like cabins. And really, honestly, if this interior was this and the outside still looked like a cabin, I probably wouldn't even be complaining, if I'm being totally honest. Yeah, but there are certainly modern structures that look more like cabins, and a modern cabin wasn't necessarily a problem, but it needed to look like a cabin, and I still think these look like shipping containers. No matter how much art they apply to the outside, I just can't see anything else. The My Disney Experience and Disneyland Resort apps recently received updates that'll make guests' experiences at both resorts a bit more seamless. On the My Disney Experience app homepage in the My Day tab, you now see exactly which Walt Disney World theme parks you have reservations for. You can only have one a day, but prior to this update, the My Day tab simply listed park reservation for the number of reservations you had booked and would open a web browser window if you wanted to view or modify that reservation. This update tells you both where your reservation is booked and what date it is booked for. At this time, this update appears only in the My Disney Experience app. Guests using both My Disney Experience for Walt Disney World and the Disneyland Resort app will have more clarity when checking out on their mobile orders thanks to the new update. As seen in the screenshot you're looking at now, when you click on View My Order, you are now taken to a My Order screen that includes photos of the items you've selected, along with an option to update the quantity and modify each item. Much needed changes. The Breeze Airways Disney to Disney flights connecting travelers between the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts will resume after a several months long pause on travel. Breeze Airways began offering these nonstop flights between John Wayne Airport, or SNA, S-N-A, and Orlando International Airport, MCO, allowing guests to travel between Walt Disney World and Disneyland with one-way flights in each direction starting at just $69 during the introductory period. The service was put on pause in September of this year, partially due to SNA's request for airlines to reduce flights until February 14th of next year. With February of next year approaching, it appears the nonstop flights are set to resume between the two airports, according to Orlando Business Journal. The return of these flights provides some Disney guests the opportunity to travel coast to coast and experience both parks in a short window of time on a single vacation. Some guests have attempted to visit all 6 domestic Disney parks in one day. We've talked about that a million times, but others have attempted more involved challenges like visiting all the Disney parks in the world in just like 12 days. That's insane, but nonetheless. While several airlines do service both MCO and SNA, Breeze Airways was the only one to offer a nonstop between the two. Currently, the destinations are connected on the Breeze Airways website, but there are no available dates for flights. We tried the service ourselves in March, managing to catch the Festival of Fantasy Parade at Magic Kingdom, and as well Wondrous Journeys at Disneyland on the same day. You can read that full review at WDWNT.com. But I know people are very excited about this option, and I think Eric and Jason gave it, I think they gave a positive review. I got to go review the review myself. Disneyland Resort has confirmed that the Haunted Mansion attraction at Disneyland Park will be closed for refurbishment beginning in January. Currently featuring its Haunted Mansion holiday overlay, guests' last chance to experience the ride will be January 21st, 2024, and that will be still the holiday version, of course. On January 22nd, the ride will close for refurbishment, but no reopening date has been announced. Of course, we, just the day before this news came out, told you about the rumor that there will be no regular Haunted Mansion at Disneyland in 2024. It will not come back until early 2025. The reasoning being that it is expected that the work on the new grounds and the new shop and all of that will be going on for quite some time, and that means that likely the Haunted Mansion will not return in any form until August or September of 2024, which would be time for Haunted Mansion Holiday, and they do not want to skip a season of Haunted Mansion Holiday. We'll let you know more as it becomes available. Another rumor that may soon be confirmed is World of Color 1 at California Adventure. Its refurbishment is being shortened, supposedly, to just 11 days due to a lack of nighttime entertainment currently being offered at Disneyland Resort at that time. The show is performing as World of Color Season of Light right now through January 7th, and at that point the show was scheduled to be closed through February 29th. Of course, we then had a rumor that that would last until March, but now the rumor is that it will actually reopen as World of Color 1 on January 19th, and Disney has informed cast members that additional downtime will be scheduled later in the year instead. So a much shorter refurbishment supposedly for World of Color, but still, if you're going that week between January 8th and the 19th, there's pretty much no nighttime entertainment as of right now. So keep that in mind if you go. And I know a lot of people are, because that's the week of the Disneyland half marathon. So a lot of upset guests that there's nothing listed. But are they going to put Wondrous Journeys back on the calendar? We still don't know if and when that's happening. There's a lot up in the air as far as nighttime entertainment at Disneyland, but I hope we'll know more in the next couple of days. Tokyo Disney Resort has announced reservation dates and room types for the new Tokyo DisneySea Fantasy Springs Hotel. Opening June 6th, Fantasy Springs Hotel is located inside DisneySea in the new Fantasy Springs Port. Guests planning a stay from June 6th through June 23rd can begin booking on February 2nd of 2024. Guests planning a stay in June after the 23rd can book beginning on March 3rd, 2024, and guests planning a stay anytime after June of 2024 can book up to 4 months before the start of their stay. The hotel will be located near the Magic Fountain of Fantasy Springs. It has 2 hotel options with multiple room types for each. There is the Grand Chateau and the Fantasy Chateau. The Grand Chateau has 56 guest rooms, and that's it. Each room has a balcony or terrace with a view of Fantasy Springs. Guests staying at the Grand Chateau section of the hotel can choose from 4 different room types. There is the alcove room, which has 4 people in twin beds. The terrace room, 4 people in twin beds as well. The grand room, 4 people in twin beds. And you guessed it, the grand terrace room also sleeps 4 people with twin beds. Fantasy Chateau, meanwhile, will have 419 guest rooms. They're decorated with characters. There are 4 areas to that section. There's the Bay Area side, the hotel entrance side, the Rose Court side, and the Spring side, as you can see by the graphic we're showing right now. Guests staying at the Fantasy Chateau section of the hotel can choose from the Superior Room, the Superior Alcove Room, the Deluxe Room, and the Deluxe Accessible Room. Real quick disclaimer, there are a ton of room types, and if I talked about them all in the show, I know people got upset when I did this for the Disneyland Hotel in Paris, but WDWNT.com, there's a ton, and you could really look at all those floor plans and figure out what's best for you if you're interested, or if you're just curious for that matter. The larger of the 2 Chateau options, Fantasy Chateau guest rooms, are divided into 4. Again, those 4 sides we just talked about. You can see their orientation in the image, again, we're showing now. Tokyo Disney Resort describes the rooms as luxurious and elegant guest rooms. A closer look at the alcove bed available in some of the rooms is provided here. And of the details, Tokyo Disney Resort says beautiful adornments, including 3-dimensional moldings and gilded cartouches, will add even more elegance to your stay. What's interesting here is the more expensive rooms are very bland, kind of, and then I adore the cheaper rooms. They're full of color. The Art Nouveau style is gorgeous. It's kind of if the atrium of the Disney Fantasy was a hotel room, this is what it would look like, and I adore it. I think they're very cute, so I'm excited. Not so much the more expensive one. I don't know if they were like, oh well, it'll be a little more elegant, no character touches, and then with these other ones, they're like they'll be character. But that being said, the art we have of the cheaper rooms, we don't see any characters there. I'm sure they'll be there somewhere. They've said it, but nonetheless, again. I really, really like those rooms. Tokyo Disney Resort has also announced a 1-day passport Fantasy Springs Magic that will guarantee guest access to Fantasy Springs, the new 8th port, again, that opens with the hotel on June 6th. The 1-day passport Fantasy Springs Magic is available for purchase only to guests staying at the Fantasy Springs Hotel and guests who have booked an eligible Tokyo Disney Resort vacation package plan. With the passport, guests will have the ability to do the following. They'll get to enjoy Tokyo DisneySea on the day of their visit, enter Fantasy Springs any time during the park's operating hours, enjoy attractions in Fantasy Springs without specifying a time in advance and with a reduced wait time. The Tokyo Disney Resort site notes that with the passport, guests can use the priority access entrance for the attractions at Fantasy Springs, except for Fairy Tinkerbell's busy buggies. They also mentioned that there will be maybe longer wait times for attractions when the park is busy, and passports will not permit access to attractions that are temporarily closed. The 1-day passport Fantasy Springs Magic is one of only 3 ways guests will be guaranteed entrance into Fantasy Springs when it opens. The other options are to buy a Disney Premier Access, which will be available to purchase and gives guests the ability to select designated times to be admitted to and enjoy certain experiences around Tokyo Disney Resort. The other option is Standby Pass, which is a free virtual queue option. Both will be made available on the day at park open. So when the park opens, this is something they've already been doing for a while. They do, obviously there are rides that do it, like Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast. There are shows that do it. Believe Sea of Dreams at DisneySea does this as well. And so, you could book either, you could pay for a DPA. In the case of a show, it's a certain viewing area, and you're guaranteed viewing. In the case of a ride, it works like booking a individual lightning lane, right? Where you pay for it, but then they give you a 1-hour window in which to use it. That's what DPA is. It's essentially the same thing. Let's talk about the ticket prices for this. The 1-day passport Fantasy Springs Magic prices are broken down into categories based on age. Adults aged 18 and up will range between 22,900 yen and 25,900 yen. That's about 157 to 177 US. Junior ages 12 to 17 will be between 21,000 yen and 24,000 yen, about $148 to $164 a guest. And child ages 4 to 11 will cost 19,700 yen to 20,600 yen, about 135 to 141 in US dollars. There are also options for guests with disabilities. These tickets are based on variable prices, and details for ticket prices each day will be announced on the Tokyo Disney Resort official website as they are determined. Some sad news today. Disney legend Dick Nunis has passed away at the age of 91. When Dick Nunis joined Disneyland in 1955, the park employed 600 cast members, and by the time he retired from his quote-unquote summer job 44 years later, Disneyland boasted 13,000 cast members, and Walt Disney World employed another 50,000. During those early years, Dick learned Walt Disney's theme park philosophy firsthand, and as he guided the growth of Disney's outdoor attractions from a single park into a worldwide resort, the premier theme park executive always kept his focus on the people. Walt believed strongly that what would make Disneyland different was the people. He wanted them to feel that they were part of the organization, Dick once said. That's why he established the first name policy. He was Walt, I was Dick, and so on. From an overall operations point of view, the most important thing is to work together to make sure that when guests come, they have a wonderful experience. Born May 30th, 1932 in Cedartown, Georgia, Dick received a football scholarship to the University of Southern California. His ambition to become a professional football player and coach was cut short, however, when he suffered a broken neck while playing ball. In 1955, he graduated from USC with a Bachelor of Science in Education. Dick learned about Disneyland through his classmate Ron Miller, who was Walt's son-in-law. On a lark, he decided to apply for a summer job at the new theme park and was hired by Van France, founder of the Disney University and author of the park's orientation and training program. Just prior to the park's July 17, 1955 debut, the duo began training Disneyland employees. Among members of their first class were Walt and his executives. Dick soon worked his way up to attraction supervisor, developing standard operating procedures for all the park's attractions. Many of these are still in use today. In 1961, he became director of park operations and helped develop Project X, better known as Walt Disney World. From 1967 to 1974, Dick also served as chairman of the Park Operations Committee, and in 1968 was bumped up to vice president of operations. By 1971, the year the Magic Kingdom opened, he was named executive vice president of the Walt Disney World Resort as well as Disneyland. In 1980, a month after his 25th anniversary with Disney, he was named president of Outdoor Recreation Division, overseeing Walt Disney World, Epcot Center, and later the Disney MGM Studios theme park. Dick also consulted on plans for Disneyland Paris and Tokyo Disneyland while serving on the Walt Disney Productions Board of Directors. On May 26, 1999, exactly 44 years to the day since he joined the company, Dick retired as chairman of Walt Disney Attractions. There are few names in the entire history of Disney parks that are as prolific as Dick Nunis. Everyone has a Dick Nunis story. And several, we've been gifted over the years to have several of them told firsthand, whether it was in this space or beyond. I'll never forget Ron Miziker, who helped develop the Main Street Electrical Parade and produced the Epcot Center grand opening special. I will never forget those Dick Nunis stories about him clashing with Danny. Danny Kaye was a nightmare to work with, and Dick Nunis, like Danny Kaye was outright mean to guests on stage, and Dick Nunis was livid about it, and there's some really good stories there. I think about the story Joe Rohde told a couple of months ago, maybe even a couple of years ago at this point, which we have at wwnt.com. You'll find that story. There's too many of them to recount, but if you're a Disney Parks fan, this is one of the most important names besides anyone with the last name Disney in the entire history of the places we love so much. Dick Nunis was, to me, like a god. All the things I believe, the things I preach, when we talk about what Disney parks are supposed to be, those are not things I created. Those are not things I came up with. Those are things this man probably created, though. Show standards, how to operate a theme park. This man, in a lot of ways, invented the modern theme park. And like the D23 blurb I just read says, like, so many of the operations this man introduced are still used and will probably be used until the Disney parks and the earth cease to exist. But like a no-nonsense guy who believed in giving the guests everything they could and, didn't put up with any BS from anybody in the organization. I know many of you probably had the privilege of one of the Destination D23 events recently. He spoke, and I just remembered, like, it was by far the highlight. The crowd was in tears, and I think for multiple reasons, not just because he was hilarious and no nonsense, but also because he's such an important figure in all of this. So, Dick, wherever you are, thank you for everything. I know There will never be another in this realm like Dick Nunis, ever, ever. And if you are not familiar with his name, I highly suggest you fall down that rabbit hole online this week and learn about him, because you and I have so much to be thankful for that this man did. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, early access to our podcast, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make this show and others happen every single week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
WDW News Tonight is our weekly comedy show combining the news of the week, comedy segments, thoughtful discussions, insane characters, parody commercials, games, and more. Watch live on Thursdays at 9 p.m. and become a WIGS member to get access to a bonus post show. Watch WDW News Tonight episodes anytime and live on YouTube, or get the audio-only version on iTunes and other podcast services.